It seems like blacks are pretty pissed off and they're kind of mad about this. Let's go to Instagram real quick. All right, so Pop the Balloon Live dropped today on April 10th. So Arlette is promoting it.
Pop the Balloon Live, the only
Different host.
live dating show where singles test their chemistry and compete for a first date. Only one thing is certain: when they're
And it's multicultural. We knew it was going to be multicultural too. I was like, there's no way Netflix says, yo, we want your show, but we want to do a different twist. We got to go multicultural. We have to go multicultural. We got to do something different, but we're going to allow you and your husband to executive produce the show. But how do you feel about selling us a percentage of Pop the Balloon with the different host, but we just want to make things multicultural? Because we feel like there's a certain ethnic group or certain ethnic groups that are being left out of the experience that you provide on Pop the Balloon. So how about you let us handle that for you? And here's some M's. How does that sound?
balloon pops, so does their chance at love. Tough crowd.
I'm in for a good time. Come with me.
I'm Yvonne Orji, and this is Pop the Balloon Live.
So it's time to look at the comments. All right, let's look at some of the comments. Our comment, I'm gonna delete it though but yeah, all I said was it was time for diversity. All we were doing were bagging on each other every other week and trying to go viral in parentheses. It started to morph into a shit show. Somebody says, I love you, Yvonne, but I'll stick with the black love edition. So blacks are upset, blacks are mad. She says, why you let them gentrify your show? We watch the show for you, Arlette. We can't have nothing. They put raisins in it. Let's go with the voices. This is giving scripted and unauthentic. I'm so glad y'all are continuing to post on YouTube as well. I'm gonna stick to how I found y'all. She says, I'll just stick to the YouTube version, but I'm happy for y'all. She says, this look animated, and I'm definitely no longer watching unless y'all on YouTube or Arlette. He said, man, what made y'all show special is it was everyday people. Now they just made Pop the Balloon Love Island. She says, girl, why in the hell you let them do that? She said, smile as long as you're on YouTube. And look, she said, as long as you're still on YouTube, I'm good. Said, this will definitely be scripted. So basically, all the blacks in her comments are mad. She said, somebody said, damn, look, DEI Pop the Balloon. What the fuck? Pop the Balloon went white? We're the black people. Good luck. I'm sticking with YouTube. Still Yvonne out. So basically, if you check the comments, blacks are upset and mad at Arlette for allowing her show to grow. What Pop the Balloon is doing is it's growing now. We've been saying for weeks as a chat, we started to get bored of it just being blacks going on the show. Alpha, shout out for the 5 candies. We started to get bored with the show because every week we're seeing blacks bag on each other. We're seeing the same style of chicks, wiggage, weavage, T-moves 24/7. And what about us people out there that like diversity? It seemed like it was a show that was geared towards just for blacks. But you know how many people probably put in applications for our Let's show that weren't black, that really wanted to go on there and try to get the experience? It might have been Zacks that like black women. It might have been black women that like white guys or like different ethnicities, or black people that like different ethnicities, but they were forced to only go black. So what we had was a display of a show that every week we're going to see why black women and black men are starting to not date each other and they're starting to go their separate ways. Every week you're seeing people be petty with each other upon multiple occasions for the most simplistic shit. Your pants are too tight, Pop. I didn't like the way you talk, Pop. I didn't like your beard, Pop. Men, your toes wasn't done, baby girl, Pop. So I had to pop you. I mean, your nose ring, I mean, it's cool and all, but shit, I'm gonna pop you because I don't really like women with nose rings type shit. It just started to get to a point where it was redundant. You know what I mean? We're basically started to watch the show in hopes to see who was gonna bag on each other the most so that we can get a good laugh. And it came into the point where people are going on there and weren't looking to find love. They were looking to basically go viral and flex their social media platforms. When you get people on the show that are wearing a million chains, talking about they sports betting, trying to go viral. You know it's fake than a mother. You know, it's a fake platform to the point where people are going on there for the wrong reasons. I don't know if that's why they made the lineups a little bit more thin now with only like 6 to 8 people to stop people from going on there and trying to go viral. Maybe that's why they stopped showing their social medias at the bottom too. So let's just talk about this. What if the roles were reversed? You look at these comments. What if there was a Caucasian pop the balloon first, right? And this Arlette was like a Caucasian woman that had the show. She sold it to Netflix. Now it's blacks. And it's a bunch of Caucasians in the comments like, I'm not fucking with this show because now you just put all harams in there. And somebody's like, yeah, I was the show, but now that you have black women on there, I'm not fucking with it. Girl, like the thing about it is I was actually liking your show, but for some reason, why did you guys have to add so much color to it? If the roles were reversed, it would have been a huge issue. But for some reason, blacks, we have this false sense of self-entitlement that we could just be the most racist people on the planet. And it's labeled as not racism. But as soon as somebody says something about us, it's racist. I think blacks, sometimes I feel like blacks were more racist than everybody. Because we're allowed to say white boy, Mexican, all... Like, you already know.
Leaderboard. I think you can access your leaderboard's settings by heading over to your dashboard.
Right, I'm gonna have to mute that game. Like, I'm in the middle of a topic, my
corner,
guy. You my train of thought, my hold on, bro.
Scroll down to community recognition and click leaderboards.
Damn. The fuck was I even saying? God damn. I'm over here in the middle of speech. Oh yeah, but anyways. Blacks, we have this sense of false sense of self-entitlement where we could be the most racist people on the planet. We could say white boy, call people Mexican, call them this, call them that. But as soon as somebody says something to us, it's labeled racist. We want to swing at them with a 50 frame. We want to pull, you know, if it's the chicks, we want to pull people's hair out, jump them, all types of shit. Fire on them, pull out the stick. So if these roles were reversed, man, it would be a shit show. And the thing is, why do blacks claim everything is theirs? Arlette never says she made the show specifically for blacks. That's just the realm that it just happened to go in. She never said it was for blacks. I guess she's a black woman, so she made a show, started off with blacks, but for some reason, we think everything's ours. Jordans, we think are ours because Michael Jordan was black. We think anything we do that we make hot is ours when a lot of this shit that we like comes from Europe and all these other places. Man, they started wearing that Gucci. Now everybody wearing Gucci. Yeah, like, girl, but we been on Birkins. Bro, those are literally European brands. We make shit hot, but it's not our shit for the most part because it's coming from people that technically aren't black. But Arlette is, I guess people looked at it as like a black show.
You're so ahead of your time, lol.
You know, on top of that, we talked about it. The show was getting stale. We needed diversity. We needed diversity in the show. It was just all the same shit in unk suits or wearing kookily clothing every week. Black chicks with fashion over dresses and wigs. We just kept seeing the same thing. Then it got to the point we kept seeing fake influencers come on there. We literally looked up people's Instagrams and seen so many fake Instagram influencers claim they had podcasts. We checked their shit. They didn't upload a podcast for 3 years. Clothing brand selling raw trucker hats and Lettermans. Oh, we've seen it all. So I think it's a good look. I think it's a good look to move the show further. It's better this way to have diversity. The world is diverse. It's not just blacks only date blacks. That's just not the way it works. Blacks, we date other people, and we're going to see a show with way more diversity, regardless of all these sisters and brothers that are upset in the comments. You should be happy for Arlette. She diversified her show because the world is full of diversity. Without diversity, a lot of black people in this chat, we wouldn't exist. There's people in our past, that other people that weren't black, that helped create who we are sitting in these seats. Everything about us is not everything black. There was some random ass European woman that a random ass name, a random ass black man named Mr. Jenkins or Johnson Green or whatever that would happen to be a slave, and then they and then you're the product of diversity. So yeah, I'm happy to see it go in this direction.